Uh,
Probably Satisfaction.
Oh,
yeah,
we know that song.
Satisfaction.
That probably the most overplayed from them. But you also
Yeah.
got to check out Street Fighting Man, Mother's Little Helper. You got to check out Standing in the
Paint It Black.
Shadow, Painted Black. That's probably one of the big ones in there.
Yeah.
Sympathy for the sympathy. Yeah, I have to pronounce it that.
Sympathy for the Devil.
Thank you. Yeah, that's one of the big ones there.
You can't always get what you want.
All right, Let It Bleed. Monkey Man.
2,000 Light Years from Home.
Yep. Oh yeah, all those songs. Start Me Up. Emotional Rescue as well. Some Girls, Shattered, Beast of Burden.
Okay.
Yeah, check all those songs out. And believe me, the catalog is long. Believe me,
Immense.
man.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I saw this meme on Facebook not too long ago. See what you think of this. The Stones currently have no bass player and no drummer. Bill Wyman retired, and Charlie Watts has passed on. And and we have the two remaining Beatles: Paul McCartney, bass player, singer, as well as Ringo Starr, a drummer. Do you think maybe sometime in the near future, when the Stones decide to go on tour again, they could take Paul and Ringo as their backing members, or what?
Oh, I don't think that's going to happen.
No.
Mainly because McCartney's bigger on his own than he would be as part of the Stones.
Yeah.
Hey, BR in the chat.
All right. Which chat? My chat or
Your
YR's
chat.
chat? All right.
Oh,
That's
I didn't
good
know
there.
why I was live.
Oh, are we live?
Yes, we are.
Why I was live.
Hey, what's up, BR? What's up, dude?
If we stay on topic, we might get this done in 2, but I'm guessing more like 3 or 4.
All right, there. And by the way, I don't know if you saw my video from the meat cooler yesterday. I have other ideas for the our music show there.
Yeah, we'll talk about that because there's a lot of those that I know nothing about.
That's what you need me for. Believe me, kid.
And that's why I'm here too.
And yes, that's right there. And Keith, you sit down and pay attention to this as well, because a good doctor is about to educate you. Okay. Okay, so we're doing the 60s now, I guess, correct?
Right.
Goody good.
Right.
All right, there.
We're going to talk about artists, and then I'm going to kind of try to cover some of the hits of each year so we can get kind of a picture of just how things progressed.
All right, there.
And then we got a bunch
You want me to read the news?
Yeah, we have a bunch of news to dive into.
I want to hear about this. What the heck is going on with Journey nowadays?
Yeah, let's start with this Journey. I mean, so basically,
Okay.
what I've gathered before we read the article here is the Jonathan Cain guy's beefing with what's his name?
Neil Sean.
Jonathan Cain's a Trump guy, and his wife are the right-leaning supporters, and Neil Sean and his wife aren't. And so they beef on that, like all this stuff. But
yeah, he's a born-again Christian.
Jonathan Cain's supposed to be on that. They're touring this year coming up short. I think they're going to start in Jersey or something.
Yeah.
Something like that. But they're going to be, we'll see what happens. They're saying they're beefing, but they're going to be on tour together. So in the same band. So the dynamic. But yeah, it's, they're saying Cain's narrative is, what's his name? Neil Sean is never, when it's under his control, the band doesn't really do it. You know what I'm saying, or whatever. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But there was a video floating around of Steve Perry singing like a week ago somewhere in New York or something.
Oh wow.
On YouTube, yeah. It's kind of hard to hear because the crowd is singing so loud.
Oh yeah.
Too with him, but yeah, he's actually out there doing that. So.
Obviously, this is Steve Perry. Bottom line, man.
Yeah, producer, if you'd like to, producer K, Special K, if you'd like to read the article on Journey, starting us off.
Yeah,
go right ahead. I want to hear about this.
Neil be part of Journey's upcoming tour. Neil Sean now says that Journey co-founder Greg Rowley won't take part in the band's 50th anniversary tour, which kicks off next month. A couple of weeks ago, Journey's co-founding guitarist hinted that Rowley would make an appearance on the band's upcoming track, presumably in the place of longtime keyboardist Jonathan Kane, with whom Neil has been publicly feuding, but Kane later said that he would be hitting the road with Journey, despite Sean's suggestion for the contrary. Neil set up the record straight on Rolly's possible participation in the tour in a tweet over the weekend after New York radio station Q104.3 said that it removed a Journey article from its website that enormously suggested Kane welcomed Rolly's return to Journey. A fan asked Neil if that means that Rolly won't be on the tour now. Sean responded, "Not at this moment. Both Greg and I intended to shed some real light on the subject matter very soon." Earlier this month, before the latest turn of events, Sean was seemingly much more certain about Rolly's participation Journey upcoming run of dates. After Neil shared a graphic for Journey's 50th anniversary on his Facebook page, a fan commented, "I am so looking forward to this. Please tell Greg Rolly is coming along for the ride. He's the better keyboard player, co-founder. It only seems right. Simon couldn't be better keyboard player and co-founder. It only seems right. Simon couldn't be better either." In response, Neil wrote, "You'll be seeing him." Last month, Kane fired back at Sean when the Journey guitarist called him a hypocrite for performing the band's 1981 hit song "Don't Stop Believin'" at Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago property. Kane, whose wife, Paula White Kane, is the former president's self-styled spiritual advisor, played the track in November with a backup chorus of U.S. rap Marjorie Taylor Greene, Donald Trump Jr.'s fiancee Kimberly Guilfoyle, and former Arizona gubernatorial candidate Carol Lake. Near Sean should look in the mirror when he accuses me of causing harm to the Journey brand. Kane said in a statement, "I've watched him damage our brand for years and am a victim of both his and his wife's bizarre behavior." An attorney for Sean sent a cease and desist letter to Kane after he performed at Trump's Florida estate. The latest legal move came a few weeks after Sean filed a lawsuit against Kane in California state court, alleging that Kane set up an American Express card without telling Sean, and that millions of Journey funds have flowed through it. Kane, for his part, accused Sean of missing the card, citing his excessive excessive spending and engaged in extravagant lifestyle. A month earlier, former Journey singer Steve Perry took legal action against Bruce, Sean, and Kane, asking them to stop registering federal trademarks on the names of many of the band's hits. Rolly was Journey's first singer, though he quickly diminished when Perry arrived in 1977. A group left Journey in 1980, just before the band achieved its commercial heights. Journey's tour with Toto will kick off on February 4th in Arlington, Pennsylvania, presented by AEG Presents. The Freedom Tour 2023 will make stops in Austin, Montreal, and Memphis before wrapping April 25th at the brand new Arknolia Arena in Palm Springs, California. The 2023 run includes rescheduled dates in Washington, D.C., plus Hartford, Toronto, and Quebec, which were postponed last year due to coronavirus. All
right, that's it. Now, is it me, or is more drama going on with that band than any other bands that are out there? Because you remember, K came down there.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Because you remember K
Most
came
of this
down.
Stuff isn't out there in the public. If bands have beefs and stuff, it's behind the scenes and all of that, whether it's contract or money issues or whatever. Like, you don't really see a band unravel and beef out in the open like this. You know, them tweeting, hate tweets, all that stuff,
Threats.
quoting, you know, when they're on interviews, threatening each other, doxing each other.
Yep. It's like, geez, like, holy cow. I wonder if Steve Perry's looking at all this as like, damn, I'm glad I not went back to these Fruit Loops. Because it's like, geez, you know, like, I don't know, it just seems like there's more bullshit going on with that band. And let's also not forget two of their other members, Ross Valerie and Steve Smith. They were booted out of the group because they were trying to take over the Journey Enterprise. And that was many months back there. It's like, you know, like one thing after another. It's like, you know, should we call this, what did the ultimate rock and roll soap operas? Called As the Journey Turns. Or better yet, As the Journey Continues. Something of that name.
One of Keith's favorite songs does a little something like this. It will stand when the time comes, you. Another one?
Go ahead.
When it's gone, Banjo and Tengu, goo. What's that one?
Give me a clue. I don't think I heard that one before.
You know that one, that Journey song, you're like, it's my favorite one, or you hear it all the time or something? Hello?
Keith, you there?
When we come on to the YouTube.
Oh, I was muted. Damn. I don't know that song.
Ways.
Oh, never heard that one. My two favorite Creed songs are
Creed. I thought it was Journey.
Oh, I don't know Journey. I mean, I know the ones. I know that one song.
Yeah, what's the one that you know? What's the one?
Other than Don't Stop Believing.
That's the only one. Don't Stop Believing.
Figures. Look up, feeling that way. Wheel in the sky. Look up, lights. Loving, touching, squeezing. Walks like a lady. Any way you want it. Stone in love. Open
You're
arms.
giving him too many.
Well, he needs it.
Well, I know.
All right.
He won't remember two of them.
Not when we get done with them. And I mean that sincerely, dude. But yeah, it's like
we're gonna penetrate your tight hip hop butthole.
Holy crap!
Yes, please, because we need to get you away from all that rap crap. At least when Journey beefs, there's no guns involved.
Yeah.
Not yet, anyway.
Exactly, but I don't think.
I thought it was Creed because one of these articles is about Creed.
Yeah, and they're saying that Mark Tremonti right now, the guitar player who's accredited with Ultra Bridge, is saying a Creed reunion will maybe happen soon. And my question is, why?
You mean, don't be a fucking Creed hater, asshole. They were super popular.
I was never into Creed.
They were huge, bro.
They to the mainstream, but not. But remember,
you hate all the good stuff. You hate all the, like, compared to what we get now, like, which is nothing like the '90s and the 2000s stuff. It's not that bad, Brown. I'm serious.
Well, I never hated anything, but the thing is, when the singer tries to portray himself as a Christ-like figure in one of the music videos, or he gets on the interview...
He wasn't. He never did that. It's a Christian band, bro. Christian roots. Creed.
Yeah, but...
they weren't like a Christian rock band. They weren't really on, like, Christian radio, per se, that I know of. But, like, they toe the line. Like, they have Christian roots, bro, and, like, it's a family band. It's like a band that you can go to a concert and bring your whole family to because it's Christian roots, bro. It's like it's like a thing. It's like God forbid we have morals and standards and you know what I'm saying, a little tradition nowadays. You can't have that, but it's like a thing. It's like he had a upbringing, Christianity upbringing, Scott Stapp. I don't really know about the other band, but the lyrics is definitely Definitely aimed towards
Christianity. Yeah.
I mean, it's a whole. I mean, they really like honestly. Keith, look up the first couple of years. Look up that because I know one of the albums was Human Clay. One of them was
My own.
My
What's that?
Sacrifice or something.
Creed.
So let me see what years they were popular. That My Sacrifice album was huge.
Okay, let's see. My Own Prison came out in 1997.
Human Clay
was Weathered album, was that the one with Higher?
Yeah.
Oh wait, Human Clay, is that the one with Higher? Okay, Human Clay came out in 1999. That's the one with Higher and With Arms Wide Open. Okay. Weathered, that came out in 2001. That's the one with Bullets.
I mean, all three of those albums are great, but you said 2001 on that one?
Yeah.
So yeah, like right around that 2001, 2099, Creed was fucking huge.
Exactly.
Huge. On the radio, everyone loved them. And then just like Nickelback, over time it was like people laughed at them, or like, you know what I'm saying? Love to hate them, the band. You know what I'm saying? Which sucks, but I'm serious, bro. That band is great, Dr. Brown. Tons of hits.
Wow, do you think the same thing happened with Three?
I'm not gonna stand for some senior citizen like Dr. Brown shitting on the music that I grew up with, the 90s, 2000s music. Sorry I wasn't born in the 80s. No, I love it. Sorry I wasn't born in the 80s, Dr. Brown. But you got to appreciate that. I mean, like Nickelback, not so much. I don't really, you know what I'm saying? But, like, they were so huge. Were they commercially pushed?
They were, yeah.
Yes, in a way. But Scott Stapp did have a rough upbringing, bro. Like, all those bands, they had to work hard to be able to, like, way before that first album, bro. Like, they had to work hard and all that shit to find a record deal and all that. So that's how I look at Brown. Just please have some respect for Creed. That's a sensitive subject. One of my favorite bands.
Okay, I will. I'll do that, man.
I mean, obviously,
the only thing I asked...
Now it's a more nostalgia thing because that was 20 years ago and people want to see that, like me. I've seen them live. I saw them live when the reunion 10 years ago. They were great. Second row, all that shit. I saw the pictures, but...
I'm more senior than any of you, and I'm okay with Creed.
What I'm saying, bro, there were tons of hits, bro. I mean, that's the thing. Like, we can't... You got to show them their respect, Brown. Like, they're not that bad. Thank you.
We can't always go by... Hey, hold it. Hold it.
Let Ark speak.
Okay, we can't always go by the hits, but Creed put out good music that became hits. But there's lots of groups that have hits that suck, but not Creed.
Very popular Creed. An extreme shaft that is not an appropriate comment. I guarantee back in that time when Human Clay and Weathered was coming out, y'all were loving some Creed. Everyone out there, maybe not so much now because everyone hates on them, but when they were popular, everyone loved Creed, bro. Like, it's crazy. Like, they're one of the best bands of like the 2000 late 90s era, in my opinion.
I'm okay with them.
They were on the radio so much, and now like you can't really shit on the radio because like we have the radio, but no one really listens to the radio, right? But like back then, we all listened to the radio 20 years ago. We all listened to some damn Creed.
Yeah.
Well,
would you say the same thing happened for Three Doors Down? They started out.
Well,
they started out rock. Then they got on the pop stations.
Yeah, and the soft rock stations as well.
Oh yeah.
And well, my only question is Scott Stapp going to stay sober?
Yeah, I think he's been clean. Look that up, Keith. How long he's been clean? Scott Stapp.
Because there was this one concert that they did, which Stapp was so wasted that the people in the audience there, they wanted their refunds. They even sued the band for giving them a crap-ass performance. And there was this one, I saw remember seeing this one footage of Stapp on this interview show. He was high as a kite, man, trying to do these fake karate moves and everything else.
Yeah, I remember that. It was like on a VH1
Okay,
show.
since
Art McGrath or something.
Yeah.
Since 2016.
All right, that's good to hear. Hope he stays that way.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Okay. Well, so we'll see what happens with that one there. Okay.
I got two more stories.
Go ahead, dude.
Okay. Let me bring this up. Elegant Weapons featuring Judas Priest, Pantera, and Rainbow members' first European shows announced. Elegant Weapons, the new band, featured guitarist Richie Faulkner, Judas Priest, bassist Rex Brown, Pantera.
Hold on.
What?
Let me sing a little piece of this. Roll away, Dr. Brown. Dr. fucking Brown. Roll away, Dr. Brown. Go ahead. This is a crazy Brown. This is a crazy story, and sounds like an awesome band. I never heard of this lead singer, this Romero guy, Ramon Romero from a Rainbow singer from the band Rainbow. Yeah, right?
I guess he was in Richie's band there during the 90s.
Definitely, all the other guys I've heard of for sure. Keith, you want to continue the article, please? And
yeah, go ahead.
Rex Brown, Pantera down, drummer Scott Travis, Judas Priest, and singer Ronnie Romero. Rainbow.
So they really have 50% of Judas Priest. They really have the drummer from Judas Priest since the 90s. It's a Painkiller album, and they have the current lead guitarist for Judas Priest, for Faulkner, and then the bass player is Rex Brown from the band Pantera. Right.
Yes.
And the singer is some guy we never heard of, but we'll look into him. But I'm saying this is I wonder what kind of music. Probably heavy metal, obviously. Yeah. But that's interesting. Go ahead, Producer K.
Has announced the following spring-summer 2023 European festival appearance so far. June 16th, Clisson, France at Hellfest. July 2nd, Bologna, Italy at the Return of the Gods. Elegant Weapons' debut album's Horns for a Hero was produced by Andy Sneap and will arrive in spring 2023 via Nuclear Blast Records. When Elegant Weapons deal with Nuclear Blast, first announced last October, Faulkner said in his statement, "It's exciting to be part of a label like Nuclear Blast that has such a rich history and level of respect among fans in the music industry." Monty Connor, Nuclear Blast VP A&R, knows Andy Sneap well, and Andy has always held Monty and label in very high regard. Monty has loved the record from the very early demo stages. It's very valuable and important to me that the label I signed will understand and connect with the music. This record represents for me more of my DNA as a guitar player and a songwriter. Heavy, but moving slightly outside the realms of heavy metal. These roots are obvious, but I wanted to reach in a bit and see what else came out that wasn't necessarily expected. Connor added, I am such a huge fan of all the players involved, especially Richie. As a diehard Priest fan, I've enjoyed watching help breathe new life into the band and add to their incredible story and a legacy. What an amazing player he is. People always focus on leads, and of course Richie's a master in that department, but I can listen to him and play rhythm guitar all day long. His rhythm playing is just so tasteful and magical. I can't wait for the fans to hear this album and discover how multifaceted he is. According to the guitarist, Elegant Weapons featured his dream lineup. I've always wanted to make a record with Scott outside of Priest, and to that Rex Brown's unmistakable tone and attitude is something so special. Having those guys as the rhythm section is a guitar player's dream. The icing on the cake was Ronnie Romero, one of the new breed of instantly classic vocalists. Ronnie brought a character and a swagger to the songs that is instantly iconic, making these songs with his own. As for the music, Richie described it as a mix of Jimi Hendrix, Priest, Black Sabbath, Solo, Ozzy Osbourne, and Black Label Society. Heavy, catchy, and
there you go.
We got to get this out. We got to listen. We got to.
Sounds good there. I like it.
Does it say? Oh, it said in the spring it's going to come out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, a few months from now.
Yep. Sort of old school and modern at once. It makes any sense and actually down tune the whole step. The Marshall.
That's kind of like that's almost like not only tribute bands is the feature of classic and older rock and older groups, but these super groups more or less. Like obviously Priest isn't broken up or done yet, but I mean even KK's Priest is somewhat of a super group. You know, members of other big bands come together. Now, usually these newer groups and blah, blah, blah aren't really that successful because people want to hear the classics. People want to hear the old shit, you know what I'm saying, most of the time. Honestly, you know what I'm saying? But it's new music. It's new heavy metal music. This is great.
Yeah, we need cool and we need a lot of that.
This isn't like wrestling. Like music isn't like wrestling. It's not like you have to stay in one band. I mean, a lot of people are loyal, you know, and stay in one band, but like they have side projects, blah blah blah, you know, like George Lynch's group. I mean, all types of groups have their side projects and stuff like that, but the people go for the names and the people go for the classic hits. You know what I'm saying? Obviously when you're in the rock and roll community bubble, we'll check that out. We'll check out new stuff, right? Like KK's Priest and all that, like we did. But usually the newer material from even old bands, even classic bands that come out with new albums aren't really that successful. I mean, few and far between. Metallica, I mean, you know, they do great albums still. But people still want to hear the classics. You know what I'm saying? This new reformed Pantera can write a new album, new songs, and blah, blah, blah. But it's like, nah, I mean, people are going to want to hear the classics.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? So...
Yeah, that's one of the things that disgruntles me about some of the people out there. They always concentrate on the old stuff instead of the new stuff, especially when the new stuff can be just as damn good as the old stuff. But you know how most radio stations are like, you know, they have to play what the people know. They got to play the same stuff over and over to the point where you just can't hear it no more.
I mean, even like XM Sirius, like, Ozzy's Boneyard, Hair Nation, it is kind of the same songs every time, kind of on there. I mean, even satellite
radio show.
Satellite radio, like, I never heard. I mean, the only deep track Judas Priest song I've heard, if you want to call it a deep track, besides the 3 or 4 major big radio hits, I've heard Metal Gods on satellite radio, if you want to call that a deep track. Metal Gods.
Yeah, it's true. It is.
You know what I'm saying? It's not really that. You really got to look for yourself and dive in yourself and take the time yourself, bro. And there's much more songs out there than the radio hits, the ones you hear on the radio.
Yeah,
you know
I've been advocating that for God knows how long, man. And by the way, speaking of rock and wrestling, we got to give a shout out to this gal here. Her name is Kim Dilla. She's a singer. She sang with Gore for a couple of years there. And she also has a Killa Custom Rock Wear, which designs concert wear for musicians and pro wrestlers.
Bro, can you get on camera? Is your hair gelled back right now or no?
No, it's not. It's
Bro, I swear that shit. Look, and I was looking at the back with the neck area, see if it was long, and I swear, like, it was like, dang, you cut all the hair above your neck too. It really looks short as hell. What do you use? A Maxi Gel, Max Gel?
Well, I use
Maximum
a thing.
Hold?
Yeah. I use a thing called Got to Be Glued. I slick it back out tight.
It really makes a difference when you have your hair slicked back and then and it makes it look like you really don't have it's not that long, and that's crazy. I mean, that's great that you can do that and be versatile with your hair. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, but right now my hair is down. It's right now for the time being there. I'd slick it back because one of the things it requires that if you have long hair, you tie it back in a ponytail, especially when you work in the meat department, which I do there. It just wouldn't seem appropriate for me to have all my hair out, getting in all the packages of meat and shit there. And somebody's in trouble there in the background.
It's a fire rescue. It's fire rescue.
I know.
Did you get stuck in a tree?
No, they're not coming for me. They're coming for someone else.
Anyways, back to Kim Dilla. She designs clothing wear for pro wrestlers, like for Impact, WWE. I know a few of her wrestling clients include Chris Jericho, Eric Rowan, the late Luke Harper, a couple of female wrestlers just as well there, as well as clothing for bands like Machine Head and a few others. Wolf Hoffman of Accept, for example, there. They wear a lot of her designs as well there. So, and she also, as I mentioned, was a singer for Gore for a couple of years there. And we didn't want to give her a shout out because I seen her page on Facebook. It's like, wow, she comes up with some really interesting stuff there. Dang. Hey. All right, so shall we get into the main topic, the 1960s?
Yes.
All right, let's do so.
Okay. Well, first and foremost to the Beatles. We all know that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
They are the 60s.
Yep, absolutely. And I said many times before, they're one of the big reasons why the sale of electric guitars went through the roof.
Wow.
Absolutely.
They hit right about 63, into 63, and then continued through 1969 when they broke up.
I thought it was, no, actually it was in 1970, April of that year.
Okay.
Yeah, I did, because I remember seeing old footage of that on a show there, talking about the 70s and that there. And I guess when the band breaks up, they got to sign some papers, if I'm correct, because I saw footage of the Beatles going up to this office to sign these papers there, stating that they were broken up, and I guess female fans were crying over that. And I know Motley Crue had to do that when they called it quits in 2015.
They set the tone. They basically were innovators.
Yep.
And a lot of their stuff was ahead of its time, basically.
Absolutely, there, and still covered by and appreciated by everybody from boy bands to pop musicians to everybody, even metal musicians, everybody. I mean, when you think about it, there, Helter Skelter from the White Album kind of was a predecessor to heavy metal, next to Born to Be Wild by Steppenwolf. And he took a lot of chances, a lot of stuff in the studio there.
Yeah, they did a lot of, the backward loop tapes, things of that nature.
Absolutely. Tomorrow Never Knows, the end of the song Rain, which John Neal's voice is backwards, singing the lyrics. I mean, the techniques they use. In fact, even Strawberry Fields Forever, the one you've heard, the one we listened to on the album Magical Mystery Tour, it's actually a slowed down when you think about it.
Do you blame Yoko Ono for the breakup?
No. The problem was when their manager Brian Epstein died in '68, there was no real discipline. I watched the Get Back documentary when I was after my dental work last year, and Paul was in the discussion with the other guys, and they said, since Mr. Epstein's death, there has been no discipline. And you got to remember, the Beatles were trying to run this record label called Apple for fledgling artists, to be noticed there. Apple. No, this was Apple Records. It was going to be a film. It was going to be fashion. It was going to be everything. But the problem was there was nobody really there to help manage it properly. And not only that, the guys are kind of like, there was a few tensions between the members. In fact, even Ringo even walked out of the group during the recording of the White Album there. He came back after a couple of days and was welcomed with flowers around his drum kit by the other three Beatles there. During the Get Back documentary, he said George Harrison even walked out. The other three convinced him to come back there, and so which he did there. There was a lot of issues. And you got to remember also, John wanted Alan Klein, who managed the Stones. Paul wanted Lee Eastman, whose daughter Linda would later become Linda McCartney, to manage the group. Those two guys didn't like each other there. And I guess, there was a lot of problems going on up there. And if it's to say that when Epstein died, that's when the shit started hitting the fan. I mean, you got to have, management, good management to take care of you as well as sort things out. And if Epstein didn't OD on those barbiturates like he did, maybe the Beatles would still be together. And Apple would have been run properly like it should have been. But, absolutely, you got to look at there's a lot of bullshit that goes on behind the scenes. I mean, like, geez, when Britney Spears had her issues back in the early 2000s with her shaving her head, partying with her panties off, with Paris Hilton on. Yep. There was a lot of struggles going on with her but then that's a separate story.
Right. We're not discussing Britney Spears.
Yeah. In fact, the situation with Journey that we mentioned early on, that's another example of all the bullshit that goes on in rock and roll there. April Wine said it best. Rock and roll is a vicious game. It's the name of their song, and they told that truthfully.
Okay, if you had to pick a favorite Beatles album, what would it be?
Oh, gosh. That's a tough one.
The Beatles one, the red one with the number one on it.
The compilation.
Right, the number one hits. But of the 13,
I agree with Wire. I would pick the one too.
Yellow Submarine too. I like that.
Oh yeah, the original or the recent re-released one.
Original.
Oh yeah, with the scores on it. It's hard for me because there were so many great albums out there. Like the White Album was one of my favorites. Abbey Road. And I had, of course, Magical Mystery Tour there was a good one. The U.S. Help soundtrack album was also a good one there. I was able to find that. And all the original as the U.S. version, to have that downloaded on my phone there. But the one Revolver, that was... Pepper. Yep. Oh, yeah, Sgt. Pepper. That's the ultimate summer album right there, man. Because I remember hearing that on a 4-track, which I mentioned before. It was like a 8-track with only 2 programs instead of 4. And basically, it was just, I listened to that. It's like, wow, this is pretty interesting, man. This is the same group that I saw in that cartoon series. Because
the interesting thing about that album is Paul McCartney was largely the one that put it together.
Yeah.
And he basically was inspired by the Beach Boys' Pet Sounds.
Yeah. I remember hearing about that a lot of times there. And even though I admit I've never heard that album as a whole, but if I understand, it has that album has been remastered a lot of times there.
Right.
Yeah. So
my favorite Beatles song is "Twist and Shout."
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
That song became a big hit again back in '86 when it was in the Ferris Bueller's Day Off movie there.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
I remember it was played on the radio a lot of times. And there was a dance scene in the streets when that song was playing there. It should be on YouTube, hopefully, I guess.
Yeah, and the interesting and the ironic thing about it, it's a cover.
Yeah.
And the Beatles had so many songs that weren't covers. It's kind of weird.
And who covered? And who originally did it? I'm
I believe
asking.
it's the Isley Brothers.
Yes, it was. Yes, the Beatles did a
Never
lot of
mind.
covers. They did a lot of
Well,
covers. Early covers, yes.
on their first 3 or 4 albums.
Yes, you got to, and in fact, it's safe to say that the British music scene really did appreciate black artists like John Lee Hooker, Chuck Berry, Muddy Waters, Willie Dixon, Howlin' Wolf. They appreciated black artists like crazy. I mean, like Little Richard even complimented Paul McCartney to do the woo exactly like Richard did.
Wow.
Fun
Why?
stuff.
I think you have the same haircut as Morgan Wallen.
Really?
Who, me?
Yes.
Oh,
No, why are?
I see it right now.
Yep.
Well,
Okay, I guess
Oh, wow.
the best thing to do at this
He's a
point.
little bit longer though.
yeah, it
Yeah.
is. Well, there's your opportunity. Wire, grow it out a little bit more, man.
Did your Brown? How long did it take? Did your hair ever was short, or it was always long all your life?
It was short for a couple. You may remember it back in 2020 when I did cut it short there when I called it on Ken's program there. And you also remember.
You think it grew longer since then, though?
Well, it did. I also cut it again around the early I guess it was in 2021 there. That's why I also cut again. But it's growing out once again there.
All right.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I guess the best thing to do is just, there's so many artists, just run through a bunch of them. And if anybody has anything they want to say about them.
Yeah, go ahead.
Absolutely.
Okay.
What we do, baby.
Question mark in the Mysterions.
Oh,
The 13th floor elevator.
I've heard of them. I haven't heard any of their music,
Psychedelic.
But I know about their guitar player Rory Erickson. I guess he had some mental issues. I guess.
Yeah, he kind of went nuts.
Yeah.
1910 Fruit Gum Company.
Hmm.
They did a lot of bubble gum.
Bubblegum music. That's what it was called back then.
Simon Says, 1, 2, 3, Red Light. Yeah. The Animals.
Yeah. Eric Burden and the Animals. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Archie Bell and the Drells.
Yeah.
They did the Tighten Up.
You also got to give up to another British respected band, Rolling Stones, who we mentioned earlier.
Right.
A lot of songs. In fact, remember we was recommending these other songs to Keith to listen to, other than the one he mentioned there.
19th Nervous Breakdown.
Oh, another good one there.
Okay, more artists. Al Green, Al Hurt, Al Cooper.
Oh yes, we heard Al.
I know one of my favorite songs of the 1960s. "Be My Baby" by the Ronettes.
Wow.
Good one. Yeah, that's a good one. Produced by the late Phil Spector, the guy behind the Wall of Sound production.
Cool.
Alvin and the Chipmunks, the Amboy Dukes.
Featuring Ted Nugent.
Yep, Ted Nugent.
Absolutely there. And think of it, this guy kind of like popularized the, what's it, Birdland guitar, I think it's called. Yeah, Gibson Birdland. He's played that guitar for many years. He has many of them in his place there. I think he still resides. I know he was living in Texas for a while there because during the Obama years, his house in Michigan got foreclosed and he moved to Texas for a while there. I don't know if he's back in Michigan, but I understand now he has a program on Real America's Voice.
Let's take a break for a minute and get a drink of water or whatever. But Brown, how's Florida? Have you been to the beaches yet?
Not yet. Not yet.
Unbelievable.
Not yet. We did. Well, like I said, me, my sister, and our niece. We went down to the Tampa area there. In fact, I did a couple of vlogs you may have seen there. It was very cloudy. And in fact, during the Christmas time, it was very cold as hell. In fact, but you may remember I went to that place called the Castle the night before I started my current job there.
Yes.
Yes. Pretty good. I'm hoping to go back there pretty soon there.
Did you get those lesbians' numbers?
If I see him again, I will.
I remember. Yeah, it was very cold during Christmas. It was cold everywhere during Christmas.
Yeah, and people don't expect that Florida to be cold because it's so close to the equator. The same thing with Texas.
Yeah.
In fact, when I first came to Texas in 2014, I was like, "Wow, it's cold out here. Wow, I expected to be a lot more warmer." But then again, what did I know?
Right.
Up till then, the only time I've been out of state was in when I was conned. Actually, lied to taking a couple of gals to see this band in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Were you catfished?
No, no, this is before Catfish. They told me, "Oh, we're gonna go. We want to see this band. It's far away from where we live. Where is it at? Where is it at?" And they told me at the last minute, it's in Ohio. It's like, what? You didn't tell me that. Well, if we did, because we wanted to see this guitar player. He's kind of hot. I'm hot for him. Blah blah blah. There.
Oh my God.
I know exactly. I did not speak to those two broads since that. I mean, like, I didn't make it back to Michigan until 8 in the morning. And after that, I just went straight to bed, slept all day. It's like, holy cow.
Wow.
You know what? Like I said,
Do
that
you
was
remember
last.
Arknolia and Dr. Brown? Do y'all remember what y'all were doing in the 1960s? Were y'all listening to this music when it was brand new?
I was.
Well,
Brown wasn't born.
I wasn't born until 1966.
But I was doing it because from about 60 through 70, I was 10 to 20. Those were my teenage years.
And it was like...
I listened to a lot of radio.
In the 60s, Brother Ark, was it like you can't have your hair past your ears and stuff?
Exactly. Schools had the rules then.
Yeah.
Like, so people were freaking out. The Beatles' hair was like long.
Oh yeah.
The mop tops, that's what we were called at that time.
Yep.
And I guess a lot of the greaser guys didn't like the Beatles because their girlfriends and were too busy swaying over the Beatles. And this was depicted in the book that took place around that time called I Want to Hold Your Hand. I guess Murray Decay, who started playing them originally, he got a lot of flack by a lot of the dudes out there because, the girls were so in the French, they were so in love with John, Paul, George, and Ringo, and the guys were like, what about us? What about us? Kind of a jealousy move there, but in a ways I could see where those guys were coming from, which I'll save for another story there.
Okay, I'll throw a few more out there. The American Breed, Bend Me, Shape Me.
Any Way You Want Me.
Yeah, Andy Williams.
Yep.
The Angels. The Archies.
Oh, yeah. Based on the
Sugar.
Yep.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Arlo Guthrie.
Alice's Restaurant. Played by classic rock stations every Thanksgiving Day.
Yep.
I like Please Mr. Postman.
Yeah.
The original or the Beatles version?
The original.
And who did the original, by the way?
I don't know. Let me...
Okay.
I think it's the Marvelettes.
Yeah, that was it.
The Association.
Cherish.
Oh, yeah.
Good song. Good song there.
On my channel, I've listed, I think, a top 15 of my favorite association channel on my channel. On the Patreon.
Yeah, we got to advertise. Everybody listening, look up Arknolia on Patreon.com and subscribe to that. You will not be disappointed. There are episodes on movies, music, TV, sports, wrestling, you name it. Me, Keith, and YR often have participated in a couple of topics there. Definitely worth checking out, everybody. Do so.
Yeah, I've got over 80 posts on music.
Yeah.
So there's enough to keep you busy for a while.
Absolutely. There. And also learn from as well.
The Balloon Farm.
The Balloon Farm?
Yep.
I don't think I've heard of that band there.
I had never heard of them.
Yeah, right.
Nope, they had one hit. I forgot the name of it. Question of Temperature. What the hell?
I was going to say.
Oh, there's someone's playing music while they're playing tennis.
Tell them to shut up. Tell them to turn it down.
Question of Temperature.
It's not loud. It's just I'm walking right by them. They don't have it loud.
Barry Maguire.
Yeah, I heard of that name.
Eve of Destruction. The Beach Boys.
Oh yeah, they had a lot of hits. The
ton of hits.
Yeah, absolutely. There, Good Vibrations. What's that one called? Dad
All the
Fun.
surfing stuff.
Nope, all absolutely fun. Till Daddy took the T-Bird away, which was a nickname for the Thunderbird automobile.
The God Only Knows, which is a great song.
My favorite
Wouldn't be
Beach
nice.
Boys song is damn, I just forgot.
Oh, I didn't know they did that song.
Help Me, Rhonda. Help Me, Rhonda.
That's a good song. Yeah.
I guess you could say the one I like for the Beach Boys was this cover of California Dreamin'. That came out in 1985. I remember seeing the video for it. It was not that bad. It was pretty good to be, actually. And towards the end of the video, they have the remaining mamas and the papas in the background there.
Then there's California Girls.
Oh, yeah, which David Lee Roth covered in 85 as well there.
I like the video.
Yeah, it's kind of funny there. You got to give it to Roth for that one.
Then there were the Beau Brummels who had Laugh, Laugh, Just a Little.
Oh, yeah.
Had several hits.
The band who used to back up the group known as the Band who used to back up Bob Dylan before they went off on their own direction there. The Wait, the night they drove Old Dixie down.
Yep.
Music
then
from Big Pink.
The early Bee Gees.
Like Words.
Yeah, New York mining disaster, 1941.
Yeah.
Holiday.
I Started a Joke.
To Love Somebody.
I heard that song at a compilation that my dad owned. That also had Traffic, which is also we should acknowledge.
Well, I think they were 60s.
Yeah,
late
absolutely.
60s, but they were 60s.
Yep.
Big Brother and the Holding Company. Guess who came from that?
Janis Joplin. And she later became a big hit there. Don't know what happened with Big Brother, unfortunately, there. I guess they kind of... Nope.
Billy J. Kramer. Billy Joe Royal.
Oh, yeah. I heard that name.
An interesting song by him is one called Cherry Hill Park. You need to listen to it because it's very suggestive.
I see what you're talking about there.
And this is the 60s that's that way.
Oh, they said the same thing about Light My Fire from The Doors.
Yep.
Even
B.J. Thomas.
Yeah. Grace Slick even said that was the most explicit sexually song she ever heard at that time there.
Yeah.
B.J. Thomas. He had a number of hits there. Yep. Featuring Eric Clapton and Steve Winwood. Ginger Baker.
But it was a killer.
Yeah. And we know the hit song for that one, Can't Find My Way Home.
Which is actually a Buddy Holly cover, I believe.
Oh, wow. Got to look that up there.
Blood, Sweat, and Tears.
Spinning Wheel.
Yeah. You Made Me So Very Happy. Blue Cheer.
Oh, yeah.
That might be the first heavy metal band.
Yeah, the first power trio next to Cream.
The Blues Image.
Hmm.
Ride, Captain, Ride.
Yep, great song there. First time I heard that was when I worked at that one grocery chain in the early 2000s in Richmond, Michigan there.
Breaking news. Fuck.
That's the news?
Hello? Oh.
He broke it.
Okay. Oh, no. Okay. Screaming Tress baser Van Connor dead at 55.
Who?
Huh?
Screaming Trees bassist Van Connor dead at 55.
Screaming Cheese was one of the early 1990s Seattle grunge bands out there.
Oh, yeah.
Blues Magoos. We ain't got nothing yet. Blues Project.
We got but oh yeah, he had a lot of hits there.
Ton of them.
Yeah, like a Rolling Stone, which Hendrix covered at the Monterey Pop Festival. Good cover there, they did.
Bobby Gentry.
Ode to Billy Joe.
There you go.
Yep, absolutely. We got to throw this band out there. They started in the 60s. Fleetwood Mac.
Yep.
Yeah, they started. Yeah, for all the people out there only know the Nick's Buckingham line up there. They started years before there. And the singer guitar player they had at that time was Peter Green. Rest in peace.
And there was a lot of good songs back then, but nobody ever heard them.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Oh, well. Great. Oh, by the way, Keith, have you ever heard parts 1 and 2 of that? Do so. Listen to it. It is mystifying. It is. This part 2 is even one that gets me. Are you in the bathroom?
And there's Albatross.
Oh, yeah. The
yes,
band?
I am.
All right. Mute when you flush, okay?
Okay, Bobby Boris Pickett.
Right.
You know what he did? Monster Mash.
Oh, yeah.
The Bobby Fuller 4.
And we
Bobby
know
Goldsboro. Yeah, it's an interesting story, is the Bobby Fuller story.
Yeah, another great mysteries in rock and roll there.
Bobby Vinton.
Oh, yeah.
The Bonzo Dog Doodah Band.
I heard of that band. I had the soundtrack to Easy Rider.
They're semi-comedy act, but they do some pretty good stuff.
Was it that did they did that one song called "If You Wanna Fly High"? Because I remember I had the Easy Rider soundtrack, and it had that song on it there.
Yeah.
And Easy Rider by the way was a movie that starred Dennis Hopper and Peter Fonda there, and it was considered one of the prime cult classics out there, along with the soundtrack. That's when I first heard Steppenwolf, the Pusher.
Right.
Which we also got to give a props to Steppenwolf. They came up with some damn good songs there. Magic Carpet Ride, Born to Be Wild, Suki Suki, Rock Me. My favorite from them.
My favorite by them is Monster Suicide America.
Yeah. And this was heavy stuff there. This was heavy back then. They weren't like one of those bands that were like flower power stuff. No, they were into leather pants and looking dark as hell, man.
Dr. Brown, you real quick sidebar. Since we're all here.
Yeah.
What's your pension? Have you heard of this Jay Briscoe?
Ooh, holy cow! There's feedback.
Have you ever heard of this Jay Briscoe guy?
I heard about him last night. He was a pro wrestler, and I heard he passed away at age 38. I don't think I have heard of him. The only Briscoe I remember was Jerry and Jack Briscoe. And they were the old tag team from Brothers Tag Team back from years before there.
And I think I saw something where Kevin Nash died.
What? Big Sexy? I know his son passed away not too long ago, but I think Kevin Nash is still alive. Let me check.
Look it up.
I'm doing it right now.
While you're doing that, the Box Tops, Boyce and Hart.
Yeah. And of course the letter.
Los Bravos, Black is Black. I
You
want my
said
baby
you said
back.
Dr. Earl, you said Steppenwolf had a song called Sookie Sookie.
Yes.
Right.
David Banner has a song called Sookie Sookie.
Might
Yeah,
be the
but
same one.
maybe or a cover there or
Yeah.
a different song with the same title. That happens a lot. And by the
Oh,
way,
right.
Kevin Nash is still alive.
Okay. I had heard differently, but that's okay.
And he's a retired pro wrestler and an actor. Look for him as the role of the Russian in the Punisher movie.
Brian Auger and the Trinity. The Brooklyn Bridge.
I heard of that group there one time there.
Their big one was the worst that could happen.
It was kind of funny. My dad had all these compilation records featuring all these hits there. That's when I first heard of Vanilla Fudge's cover of You Keep Me Hanging On.
Great song.
Absolutely great, powerful song there, as a matter of fact.
The long version runs about 7 minutes.
Yeah, which I definitely recommend. Crystal Blue Persuasion.
Well, that's Tommy James and the Shondells.
Yeah, that's a good one. That came out in the 60s there. Pretty good song there.
Bruce Chanel.
Bruce Chanel. Oh, yeah.
Hey, baby. The Buckinghams. Kind of a Drag, Don't You Care? Susan. Mercy, Mercy, Mercy. Buck Owens. I bet Keith has heard of him. Keith?
Yes. Oh,
Have you heard
of Buck Owens and the Buckaroos?
No.
Oh, come on.
You have now.
Yeah. Sorry. Someone called me.
60s Country.
He was one of the co-hosts of Hee Haw.
Yes, you got to look up that show there.
Oh, my grandpa loved that show.
Buffalo Springfield.
And we know that big song, the big song from them.
For what it's worth.
Absolutely. Featuring Neil Young and Stephen Stills.
Yeah, same group. And it wasn't the first time or the last that they ever did that.
Okay.
Burt Bacharach.
And Hal David.
And the Byrds. David Crosby, his original group.
Yep. And we also, speaking of Burt Bacharach and Hal David, we got to acknowledge the singer who they wrote songs for, Dionne Warwick. Anybody who had a heart, Walk On By.
I call him, but no answer. I think he might be a
Canned Heat.
Oh, yeah. Blues right there. Featuring the Bear, Bob Haidt.
Yeah. Captain Beefheart.
And his Magic Band, proteges of Frank Zappa. Look for the album Trout Mass Replica. People have been saying that it was probably way ahead of its time there, even though it's all the songs that are awkwardly performed the way they are.
Yeah, Carole King, The Carpenters.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's more 70s.
Yeah, but they started in the 60s.
Yeah, and I guess they'll...
late 60s.
Yeah, exactly. Around 68, 69, if I'm correct there.
Still the 60s.
All right, there. Either way.
Cascades. Rhythm of the Rain.
Oh, man, that's an old one there.
Original. The Castaways. Liar, liar. Your pants are on fire.
Ah, I see her.
Cat Stevens, although he has another name now.
Yeah, I know. Yusuf. I think it was called Yusuf Islam there. Or just Yusuf. That's how it's advertised on his Facebook page there.
Chad and Jeremy.
Peter and Gordon.
The Chambers Brothers.
Oh,
Time has come today.
Oh, that's one of the big... if you haven't heard that song there, I recommend it. One of the big protest songs. Really, one of the pure angst songs of that generation there. Listen to the lyrics.
Version is 11 minutes or something like that.
Yeah, believe me, worth a listen. Absolutely worth a listen.
The Shantays, the Chartbusters, Chet Atkins.
Oh, yeah.
And now Chicago started in the 60s. Yeah. Chicago Transit Authority came out in 1969, I believe.
Yes, and it had, does anybody really know what time it is on that album? as well as their awesome cover of I'm a Man for the Spencer Davis Group. Who, by the way, also gets a nod because not only for I'm a Man, they also did Give Me Some Lovin'. And we know the singer for that group, Steve Winwood.
And Chuck Berry drifted into the 60s.
Yeah.
Started in the 50s, but he drifted in the 60s.
Oh, the Yardbirds, we got to give them a shout out. They had a lot of hits like For Your Love, Over, Under, Sideways, Down. And we know the three main guitar...
Soul.
And we know the three guitar players that emerged from that band, Page, Beck, rest in peace, and Clapton.
Yeah. The Classics 4. Spooky.
Dennis Yost was the leader of that group there.
Stormy.
2 songs, good songs from them.
Well, they had more too. Traces. Can't think of them off the top of my head. Clear Light. Good morning, Mr. Blue.
Oh, what about the Outsiders?
Yep. Time won't let me.
Yep, absolutely there. What's that? I'm thinking about that other band, Joe Tex. He had a song called It's Alright, which Huey Lewis and the News covered one of their cover albums there.
And you better hold on to what you got.
Otis Redding.
Talk of the Bay.
Big song.
Released posthumously.
Yeah, after his fatal plane wreck there.
That's what posthumously means.
Absolutely.
Connie Francis, Connie Stevens. Conway Twitty.
Yeah.
There's another one that Keith should know. Count 5. Country Joe and the Fish.
Oh boy, that was it. If it's to say that this group I remember hearing was paid by Ed Sullivan not to play on their program because some of their songs had a lot of 4-letter words in their lyrics there. Who cannot forget
Hold on a minute. We need to take a moment and speak. That was one of the major figures of the 60s, and maybe earlier, I'm not sure. It was Ed Sullivan.
Right.
Yes, absolutely.
Important show.
Well, he introduced the Beatles. I mean, come on.
Absolutely. He had a lot of acts.
Didn't he have beef with Jim Morrison?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, because the producers up there didn't want the Doors to sing Girl, We Couldn't Get Much Higher. Absolutely, because so it kind of like refers to drug use. But the Doors say, there's nothing wrong with it. Let's sing it out there anyways. So they did it. And according to Ray Manzarek, rest in peace as well, the producer's like, you promised you wouldn't sing that, though. Say higher. You promised. And
they had a little trouble with the Rolling Stones, too, with Let's Spend the Night Together.
Yeah, they had to, and the Stones decided to call it Let's Spend Some Time Together.
Yes.
So they complied. Yep, they complied.
Yeah. Then you had the Cowsills, which was your prototype for the Partridge Family.
Yeah.
Which originally they wanted the Cowsills to be the Partridge Family, but they wanted to change Mom, and the group said, no, we go with Mom or we don't go. And if you want to hear a Cowsills song that is a guilty pleasure for me and probably one of the better songs I've ever heard.
Yep.
Is The Rain, the Park, and Other Things.
That's one of their big songs. He also had a song called Hair.
Oh, yeah, they pulled it from the movie.
Absolutely. I was going to say, was that reference to the movie and the musical, the same name, I guess?
They pulled it from the movie. It is the title song.
Ah, I see there. Because I only heard...
His hair, long, beautiful hair.
Yep.
The Crazy World of Arthur Brown.
Oh yeah, we know that this guy was like
in that play Hair. They were nude in the original, correct?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Never knew that.
Yep. Well, not totally, but there was nudity. Cream.
Oh yeah, one of the other power trios.
one of your first super groups.
And power trios there when you look at it there. We all their songs, Strange Brew, White Room, which is one my
Sunshine
favorite
of
song.
Your Love.
Absolutely, which Bruce and Clapton share vocals together there.
Yeah, and then the song I liked was one of SWLABR. Great song. You know what that means? She walks like a bearded rainbow. What?
Ah,
okay.
Yeah. Oh, we cannot forget their cover of Robert Johnson's Crossroads.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And an extended version of Spoonful on the Wheels of Fire album.
Ah.
Badge.
Oh, yeah. Great song there. Featuring the Mellotron, by the way. Which, by the way, was also a big fixture in the 60s as well there. The Beatles used it on a couple of their songs. The Moody Blues, we got it definitely acknowledged there. They had a lot of great albums during that period there. Days of Future Past, In Search of the Lost Chord.
Yeah, and then the rest of them come out in the 70s.
Yeah, also On the Threshold of a Dream. That's a good album there.
Yep. Creedence Clearwater Revival.
Ah.
Now, if I was going to suggest a song by them, I'd suggest Ramble Tamble. You got to hear that. It's up your alley, Earl. You got to hear that one.
Oh, nice. Oh, along with
Fogerty did get his the music rights too.
Good.
Yeah, I'd heard he got them back.
Good, which is a blessing because man, that meant that guy, poor guy, went through a lot of nightmares.
If he does John Fogerty solo, I think, but if he came back and toured as CCR or something, that wouldn't be bad.
Yeah.
I mean,
but unfortunately,
they had a lot of hits,
happen.
man. That's another group that had a lot of songs, a lot of good songs, popular ones.
He was essentially CCR.
Yeah, he was the writer. He was basically the main writer and arranger of all the songs there.
Ooh, stop the rain.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
I like that one. I like that one that goes, Keith is the best podcaster and everyone's jealous of Keith.
Yeah.
Gosh. I understand that Who Will Stop the Rain was inspired by the rainfall during the Woodstock Festival.
Yeah, but I want to know, have you ever seen the rain?
Absolutely. That's a good one. I think that was the title of a movie that came out years later on, if I'm correct. I could be bluffing, but who knows?
Believe so.
I
see a bathroom on the right.
Oh, by the way, we also got to acknowledge their Susie Q, which is a good song.
Right.
And they're awesome. And plus their awesome cover of Heard It Through the Grapevine. Another long one by them.
11 minutes.
Yeah. And also Fortunate Son, which Bob Seger did a live version of one of his albums.
Yeah.
Oh, we also got to acknowledge the Bob Seger System. They started out in the 60s.
Rambling, Gambling Man.
Yep. And 2+2. Death Row, Lucifer, all those songs there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And an early version of Turn the Page.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Crispy and St. Peter's, Follow Me, I'm the Pied Piper.
Ah.
The Critters, Younger Girl. Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young.
Oh, yeah. We know the songs from Sweet... Oh, and later on was also Crosby, Stills, and Nash at times as well there.
Well, yeah, they jumped back and forth. Started out as Crosby, Stills, and Nash.
Yeah.
Their first album.
Yeah. And we know the hit song from that, Sweet Judy Blue Eyes.
Yep.
And during that, by the way, when they performed that song at the Woodstock Festival, I think it may have been Steven's guitar was out of tune, I guess. You could probably hear it when you listen to it there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Then there was Crow, who did a cover of Evil Woman, the Black Sabbath song that wasn't on the first album that should have been.
Actually, it was Crow originally did it first. Black Sabbath covered it on their first album, the UK version, actually. Yeah.
Crying Shames, Sugar and Spice, and All Things Nice.
Ah.
Let's see.
Tom Jones.
The Circle, Red Rubber Ball.
What about Tom Jones? I know he was a 60s.
Oh, man, I liked him.
Eaglebird Humperdinck as well.
Yeah, wasn't as big on him. I liked him okay, but
I guess
Tom Jones I did like. It's not unusual.
Mm-hmm. What's New Pussycat? Delilah.
That's one of my favorites by him, believe it or not. The Dave Clark 5.
Ah, yeah, we know that song, Glad All Over.
Bits and Pieces. Can't You See That She's Mine? Because, I mean, they had a ton of hits. Dave D, Dozy, Beaky, Mick, and Titch.
Oh, we got
listen to Hold Tight. That's up your alley.
All right, there. We got to acknowledge Nancy Sinatra. These Boots Are Made for Walking. The daughter of Frank, of course, All Blue Eyes.
And she actually had quite a few hits. Lightning's Girl. Let's see, what was the other one? I can't think of any of them off the top of my head. Oh, she did a few with Lee Hazelwood that were good.
Look up one of the front cover of her album Sugar. She's wearing this pink bikini, and wow, man! When I was a 12-year-old kid, when I saw that on the 4-track cartridge that my dad had, he had a collection of all of them. And I was like, wow, holy cow, this woman is pretty. You know, at the time I was about a wee little kid, and I saw this for the first time. I was like, oh wow, something there. But I guess I guess you could say that was kind of a big deal when you post on the album cover in the bikini there.
Yeah, and it's kind of like the Herb Alpert one, where that girl's sitting there covered with
whipped cream and under the lights. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was gonna get to that just as well, man. We also gonna give Herb Alpert his due there. Walk, Don't Run. This man's in love with you.
That was actually the Ventures.
Yeah, but I know they did their cover.
Tijuana Taxi.
Oh yeah, that was another one. Going Places, the album. My dad had that as well. I remember listening to that as well. And like I mentioned, we got to acknowledge him singing on the song "This Guy's in Love with You." That was a major hit.
Zorba the Greek.
Yeah. In fact, Herb Alpert, he was the A in A&M Records. The M would belong to his partner Jerry Moss. They founded that record label. And he knew how to work with the artists well because he was an artist himself, obviously. And look at all the acts that would later sign on to this label.
They had some good ones.
Yeah, Sergio Mendes of Brazil 66. And later on, they would have Nazareth, Peter Frampton, Humble Pie, The Police, the band Keel, K-E-E-L, a heavy metal band as well. They also would have the Human League as well.
Okay, Deep Purple's first 3 albums before Mark II were released in the 60s.
Yeah, on the label that was started by Bill Cosby's management.
Tetragrammaton.
Yep,
They went under after the release of the 3rd album. Originally, there was only like about 5,000 copies that album made and sold. Of course, they've been reprinted and sold now, but...
Under various independent labels out there.
Right. Delaney and Bonnie.
Yes, I heard of them.
Del Shannon had 60s hits.
Oh, yeah. Runaway?
Mm-hmm.
That was one of his big ones there.
Keep Searching, Will Follow the Sun.
I know you knew this, but Del Shannon had an album out back in 1981. I remember reading a review about it in the magazine I was into at that time, Cream Magazine, based out of Michigan. And that album, Drop Down and Get Me, was produced by Tom Petty. And after Roy Orbison's death, Shannon was considered the replacement for the Traveling Wilburys. But unfortunately, Del Shannon passed away around that same time as well there. So there goes that.
Dino, Desi, and Billy.
Yeah, we know their song, what are their fathers? Dino Martin, I guess it was.
Right.
Yeah. They were like this trio that was signed on to Reprise Records there, which I guess was started by Frank Sinatra, if I'm correct.
That's correct. Desi was Lucille Ball's son.
Ah, see there.
Billy was a friend.
Also, we got, speaking of Reprise Records, their main one that star on their roster, the Jimi Hendrix Experience.
Kinks.
As well there.
Dion and the Belmonts.
We got to acknowledge Jimmy. Because there was no other guitar player at that time like Jimi Hendrix, and there still is no guitar player like Jimi Hendrix, for that matter of fact. Are you experienced?
He was still alive. He would have been like 82 or 83. And Minnesota Vikings fan, you can go fuck yourself.
What do you say?
Okay.
What do you say?
Don't watch. He's mad because Keith's on the show. What has Keith done to you, Vikings fan?
Oh gosh.
Keith, are you here to defend yourself, Keith?
He fronting. Well, let me look.
Keith, what's your opinion about Vikings fan, real quick?
I think maybe it's because I like Tony. That's why he doesn't like me so much. Because he hates Tony a lot.
Well, apparently he hates lots of people, but hey, okay. Donovan.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
My favorite by him is Hurdy-Gurdy Man.
I was going to say the same thing. We also play Jennifer Jupiter, Sunshine Superman, Atlantis. Atlantis?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Way down below the ocean.
Yep, good song there.
Where I want to be. The Doors started in the late 60s.
Oh, yeah. I was speaking of which, I was going to mention that earlier on. We know their songs, Light My Fire, People Are Strange, which Echo and the Bunnymen that did a good cover of there.
That album is great. Strange
Days.
Beanie Man? Beanie Man, the Jamaican rap? You said Beanie Man did a cover of that.
No,
I love Beanie Man.
No. I'm talking Echo and the Bunnymen.
Oh, Bunnyman.
Yeah.
Dr. John started in the 60s. He was in the right place, but it must have been the wrong time.
What do y'all feel about, and it was in the same era of the 60s, if I'm not mistaken, a whole different, I don't know if sound's the right word. I don't know if genre is the right word. But Motown.
We gotta acknowledge that,
Motown.
definitely.
That could be a separate show after we're done with the 60s.
Yeah, we gotta definitely look at that, because look at all the artists.
African-American, Detroit, Chicago. I mean, where did that sound come out of? What cities? You
Detroit.
think?
Detroit, Michigan there. Barry Gordy.
Nice.
Absolutely. We gotta do a show on that.
But Motown, just as a whole right now, we need to give a tip of the cap, because that sound, which they also do play those songs on the oldie stations.
Absolutely.
Now, I haven't heard an oldie station in over 20 years, but, because we were listening to the radio 20 years ago.
Right.
And so I don't know what they consider, oldies. Is it still the golden? Do they, I guess they still play 50s and 60s?
Yep.
A lot of them don't, because I guess they figure the fans of the 50s and 60s are all dead. I don't know.
Yeah, they'll nudge in like bands, probably like Steve Miller Band, obviously the Doors, Beatles is big, Rolling Stones, but like more of that 70s, they're probably. But then that's also your classic rock as well. They your Steve Miller Bands is considered classic rock.
Eagles.
Yep.
Classic rock station, but
Bad Company.
Dr. West's Medicine Show and Junk Band. They did a song called The Eggplant That Ate Chicago. The interesting thing about this group is their leader is a guy by the name of Norman Greenbaum.
Really?
And you know who he is, or do you?
Not really, not yet. That's
Spirit in the Sky.
Oh, that's right. Son of a name.
I know old time rock and roll came out in 1970 something.
Now, back in the day, back in probably the 2000s, obviously 90s, 80s. I don't know about the 70s and 60s, but have y'all ever been to maybe not that best of a hotel or motel, and
Yes.
they didn't have a TV. I mean, most hotels have TVs, but they have radios, clock radio, like the alarm clock radio as well. Like an alarm clock that when it goes off on the time you want to be waking up, sometimes it plays the radio on there, which is built into it. Have you all ever experienced that, like radios at hotels or motels throughout the years?
Not really, not me.
No, the
I've experienced. Sorry.
The only time I've ever been to a motel a couple of times was with my girlfriend back in the day there, and it was a couple of times we watched TV, see what was on the Cartoon Network, like the Banana Splits one late night. Yeah, I remember those, but we didn't really pay attention much to the radio there. But I had a hard time. We had a hard time trying to program the radio to wake us up at a certain time there, because it was like at that time it was like I tried to figure this because I'm so used to the radio that I had at that time.
Dusty Springfield.
Son of a preacher man.
Oh, okay. I've been to a hotel where it has an option. You can either put the alarm on or the radio.
Choice.
Yep. So I always put the alarm on. Instead of the radio.
You said you listen to a local station nowadays with the top 10. What's that station? You shout it out.
99 Jams. It's the top. Well, it's the top 8 at 8. And then there was this other station, Hits 97.3. What
kind of music do they play on those? Yeah.
99 Jams. They play it's number one for hip hop and R&B. Hits 97.3. It's number one for all the hits. The pop station. They used to have a top 5 pop countdown at 12 o'clock, but they don't have it anymore. They have the top 10 at 10 a.m. on Hot 97. They have the top 9 at 7 on Hot 97, and they have the Breakfast Club. Weekends with the Breakfast Club is the top 30 songs, and on Saturday morning. And what else? Well,
real quick to close this so we can get back to the list. You said you did listen to oldies back in the day, 20, 30 years ago, off the radio, oldies, 60 songs.
Yes, from like when I can remember when I was 5 all the way up to like age 16.
What year was that when you were 5?
1990.
They actually had the oldies station on the radio back then.
Yes. It played the 50s and 60s. So every time I got in the car with my mom said, "We're listening to the oldies station." That happened every time I was in the car with my mom, all the way up to like age 16 or maybe 17. So like I heard a lot of oldies every time I was in the car from 5 to 16.
She was trying to educate you.
Yeah.
Yep. At first, I didn't like it. I was like, I want to hear the. It wasn't like the rap station. It was like the moderate rap station where they play like pop, some rap, some R&B. I wanted to listen to that, but after a few years, I was like, oh, I like this. I like this music.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The easy beats.
Oh, yeah. Friday on My Mind out of Australia.
Yeah, they're huge in Australia.
Yeah.
Mine was Magic 102.7.
I got to throw this one out. There was a program on one of the local rock stations in Detroit there. They used to have it called early Sunday morning called the Sunday Brunch, where they play a lot of classic rock stuff from the 60s and up there. And I remember the guy's alias name that he gave. He used to call himself Chuck Roast. Cheesy name there, but that was the name he used. And they would play stuff like Yardbirds, Cream, all that stuff there. Early 60s stuff there. It was for the Sunday morning crowd, I guess, there.
They did that.
Winner.
Mm-hmm. Johnny Winter.
They did that on Magic 102.7. It was Sunday brunch. It was all about. It was the Beatles Sunday brunch. It was a whole morning show on Sunday morning all about the Beatles. And they played Beatles music, and they talked about the Beatles.
Oh yeah, there was another oldie station in Southeast Michigan area. They used to do the Fab Four at four songs from the Fab Four, obviously. hmm
Oh,
And you
yeah.
mentioned Johnny Winter, Ark.
No, Edgar Winter.
Oh, Edgar Winter, yeah, Johnny's brother
Edgar
there.
Winter Group.
Yeah, that's
What's
right.
one of the major songs on that one? Soul
Free
Ride?
Ride,
Free Ride? Yeah,
Free Ride, and Frankenstein.
Frankenstein.
Yep.
If you ever want to get a kick, go to YouTube and look at the live version of Frankenstein and watch him play that. It's kind of like, holy crap.
Yep.
It's
Now, how much was a gallon of gas in the 60s?
about 20 cents.
Wow.
So like $100 in the 60s would be like $1,000 now.
Easily.
Absolutely there. If you had
a brand new car, I don't know, the
Couple of
Chevy.
thousand.
Yeah,
Wow.
exactly. In fact, tickets for a concert it costs about $3 during that time there.
I remember Gas Wars. You guys have never seen that.
Gas Wars.
It is when stations across the street or near each other would lower the price and this and do it and this and do it.
Competition.
I mean, I saw it get down to something like 15 cents, you know?
No surprise. That's it's called
your-
competition, man.
Of course, your gas tanks would hold 25 or more gallons generally.
Yep.
Keith, look up what year the condom was invented.
Okay.
Mass
I
produced.
remember gas
Probably came
in
out-
1990.
I'm just thinking of
gas
different
in
things that were, maybe invented in 60s. So like the cigarette was out, right?
Yeah.
You had,
yeah,
to roll your own, or they already had them.
They had them out well
Yeah.
before the 60s.
Yeah. 1930s.
The condom was invented in 1858.
What was it? A
Really?
paper bag and a rubber band? How was it?
We go to the men's restroom and they had a machine.
Oh, God.
I'll send that-
I
I'll send
remember
you
that
a
as
screenshot.
well there.
I've had to use tinfoil before. You know what I mean? Tinfoil and a rubber
Or
band.
plastic
so-
wrap.
I don't know about that one.
Brown, you used plastic wrap before? You
Hell
used a Ziploc
no.
bag?
Hell no.
The electric
I
flag.
used a Walmart bag and a rubber band.
Oh, gosh. You know what? There was speaking of which, I gotta throw this one. There was a reference in the Grease movie where Travolta was doing the song "Grease Lightning." He took some plastic wrap and he was wrapping around his crotch a little bit, and the producers didn't want that in the movie there.
What
but
movie did that come out?
1978. Good,
Oh,
but
wait,
apparently,
it's
yeah, but
It
that
was based in the 50s, right?
Yep, correct. In fact, they were apparently the story was that a lot of guys were using plastic wrap around their peckers there so they won't get the girl pregnant.
Really?
Yeah,
Back then.
a couple of times as well there.
Where'd you hear that
Thank
from?
you, VR.
It was
in the
a
chat.
story.
Thank you, VR, in the chat.
What do you say?
He said Keith is a good dude
That's good.
or a good guy,
All right there.
good brother.
Yeah.
The electric flag had Mike Bloomfield as their guitarist.
Yeah, Mike Bluefield was a very respected guitar player at that time there.
Mostly session, but
Yeah.
the electric prunes.
Oh, yeah. I had too much to dream last night. Curie, what's that one that was Curie Mun's son of a name goat? I forgot the title of it.
Then there's Get Me to the World on Time by them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Of course, Elvis Presley was still doing stuff in the 60s.
Yeah, he was, yeah. But
I
at
think
that
that's
time,
when Suspicious Minds came out.
I think so. And let's not forget the comeback special after being in the Army for a couple of years there.
Right. I think that's when he released like In the Ghetto, Crying in the Chapel, those kind of songs.
I see there.
I think that was 60s.
Yeah,
think.
didn't he get into wasn't there a controversy over In the Ghetto?
Maybe, but not really. It was a good story.
Yeah, it's true there. Because a lot
Keith,
of
what was the first song you heard in that Elvis movie that they did?
I don't remember.
The Everly Brothers were still doing stuff in the 60s.
Yeah, they were.
Every mother's son.
Ah.
Come on down to my boat, baby.
Simon and Garfunkel.
The Faces.
Yep.
Actually started out the Small Faces.
Yep. Featuring Steve Marriott, who would later go on to form Humble Pie.
And they actually had Rod Stewart in that group for a while.
Yep. As well as Ron Wood, who later joined the Stones.
Yep.
Yep.
Fever Tree. San Francisco Girls, Return of the Native. That's a song that's up your alley, Earl.
Ah, nice.
The Fifth Dimension.
Up and Away.
Yeah, Age of Aquarius. Let the Sun Shine In.
Ah, that was a big one there.
The Fifth Estate, who did a cover of Ding Dong, the Witch is Dead.
From the Wizard of Oz movie.
Yep. The Fireballs.
Ah.
The First Edition.
They
did a song called Just Dropped In, and their lead singer was
Kenny Rogers.
It's weird to hear all the stuff that he's done and go back and hear this psychedelic number he did.
Oh yeah, let's not forget Ruby Don't Take Your Love to Town.
Yeah, that was a good song.
Yeah. Very good
The
song.
Five Americans.
Jay and Americans.
Yeah.
They did this song which Nikolai Volkov covered for one of the WWF wrestling albums.
Which one?
I think it may have been Ali. Let me look it up once again there. I forgot, it's been so long there. Let me okay. Give me a couple of minutes here.
The Fortunes. The Foundations. The Four Seasons.
Oh yeah.
The Four Tops.
Jay and Americans.
Did we dive into the Four Seasons already?
Okay.
We can do that here in just a
second.
second.
We got Keith. Look at the song list. There's a bunch of hits that they did.
They have a ton of.
Okay.
They made a movie out of them.
Frank Zappa.
Oh yeah, the Mothers. Oh yeah, special shout out to them. They put out the first double album in 1965. Freak Out. Hungry Freaks Daddy, Who Are the Brain Police, Help, I'm a Rock, The Return to Sun of Monster Magnet, Go Cry on Someone Else's Shoulder there. You know, very rare album if you get it on its original format.
Freddie and the Dreamers. I'm
and
telling you now.
And the Jay and American song I'm looking at that Nikolai Volkov covered was Cara Mia.
Huh. Wow. Friend and Lover. Reach Out in the Darkness.
Okay, I got a list.
Frigid Pink.
Ah, I heard of that name a few times.
They did an excellent version of House of the Rising Sun, which was very heavy. You need to hear it. It's up your alley.
All right.
Max Frost and the Troopers. Nothing can change the shape of things to come. And Keith has a list.
All right.
Yeah. Let's Hang On. Sherry.
Good song.
Can't Take My Eyes Off You.
All right.
Ragdoll. My Eyes Adored You. Beggin'. Walk Like a Man. Big Girls Don't Cry. Grease. December 63. Oh, What a Night.
Yeah. Actually, you named two songs Frankie Valli did solo, and you named one song the Four Seasons did without Frankie Valli.
Oh, wow.
Cool.
Yeah.
Because that December 1963, I believe, did not have Frankie Valli on it.
Ah.
Right.
And Grease was a Frankie Valli solo song. My Eyes Adored You is a Frankie Valli solo song.
I think it's the other way around. I think Grease was a Four Seasons song without Frankie Valli in December.
Oh, no.
What a Night. Oh.
Oh, no. Grease was definitely Frankie Valli.
Yeah. Written by Barry Gibb of the Bee Gees.
Then there was Don't Go Away. I'm No Good for You.
Walk Like a Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's an extensive list. Come On, Marianne.
And I guess it's safe to say that Frankie Valli was one of the first guys to really range his voice that up high for some of those songs.
Yeah.
Because no other guy was able to do that and get away with it.
Right. Well, I guess we'll start up where we left off.
Absolutely, yeah. It is getting towards that time there.
I tried to rush through it so we wouldn't spend too long on it.
Yeah, sure.
But I can see us going to 3 shows, but I could be wrong.
Okay.
And we still got to do Motown after that.
Okay, there. But before we go, I don't know if you saw my suggestion via that I did at the meat cooler last night. I would like to look, and yeah, I did. Yeah, we did bring that up there, but we also definitely got to take a look at artists and bands from Canada and Australia just as well there. The electronic music scene, hence Jean-Michel Jarre, Tangerine
Dr. Brown,
Dream.
Dr. Brown, do you have time for a little bit of drama tonight, or are you busy, Dr. Brown?
Nope, I am not. You got some drama for us to serve?
Yeah, I'm gonna
cool.
make a new,
Let's do it.
I'm gonna make a new show though.
Let's do it.
Right.
I'm up for it, man. It's been a long time. This Night God said it best. Says join his been stale. Let's get it unstale.
When did you say that?
Okay. Well, I'm going to leave. I'm going to leave. I'm going to leave you guys with that.
Okay, there.
And
We will see.